Hi class. So for this week's discussion, I had to pick the model of addiction that I feel is the best model for addiction. So for me, this was really hard to do because I feel like all of them have really good components, and I'm a person in recovery, so my model of addiction would be the disease model. But going forward with the discussion, I want to come into this with the mindset of a counselor, not a client or a person in recovery. So the model that I feel is best is the biosocial model, the public health model, because it identifies that the three big factors are the drug, the person, and the environment. So the drug, certain drugs you can become physically dependent on. Certain drugs, it's just a psychological dependence on. So I feel like that plays a huge role too. And the textbook even says, a heroin high is more intense than a marijuana high. Drugs feel good to people. That's why they use drugs, part of it, because it makes them feel good. So different drugs make them feel different levels of happiness. The person plays a key role too. Whether that's their genetics or if they have a family member that was addicted to drugs or alcohol, I feel like we as humans are addicted to something, whether that's Facebook or food or sex or gambling or drugs. I know for me, like every morning when I wake up in the morning, I check Facebook or I look at my phone. So I feel like humans have that addictive personality already in them. And then finally, the environment, I feel like that plays a huge role too. And the textbook outlines that it could be stressors at work. Someone growing up like in a broken home where both parents are using, or they're around it, or peer pressure, or not feeling good enough, or trying to fit in, social acceptability. I feel like all three of those are very important. Versus the psychological model, which basically states that people use to cover up the mental health symptoms. I feel that's true for some people, but I don't think that's a good outline to cover everyone. Same with the disease model. I think that's great just because that's what I choose. But there's so many different pathways. But the model that I least agree with, I would have to say, is the moral model. And I feel like just the word moral weakness is like a stigma, and it doesn't sound good to me, and I don't like that. And that's what the textbook says, that it's a flawed character or moral weakness, and that the moral model pushes punishment over treatment. And I feel like in today's society that is not a good answer. We tried that back in the 80s and it didn't help. I feel like that when we with people that are addicted, they already have so much shame and guilt already. And to put a label that we are bad people or they are bad people and have a moral deficiency and they make bad choices and they're weak-minded, I feel like that makes people not want to get the help, or they feel ashamed of themselves. I feel like the other models make it more to embrace and empower and to want to get the help that you need. So those are the two models that I picked. And as far as self-care goes, I'm a person in recovery. I work in the addiction field already. So for me, self-care can either be going to a 12-step meeting, sitting on my couch and watching Netflix. With being in school, my life is very busy. So when I do get some downtime, sometimes I like to just dumb down and sit on the couch and binge watch a TV show on Netflix, having peace and quiet and just trying to find just me time. That's really important for me. But yeah, so thank you.